Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1.5 EU Championship. We're today for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. This is round 8. We are just coming to a close of the first half of the season. We're on board with Tom Brainer, who's about to finish his next lap, currently sitting P3, 27.6. What's he going to do? He brings it far to the left-hand side to minimise track distance. Across the line, it's going to be 2/10 improvement, not position-wise though. They are still away. A long way away from Devon Young and Peanuts, who are currently topping the times by a 10th from each other. And yeah, not got too many on the grid. We've got the two Ferraris at the back. They're not actually setting lap times yet, so they'll be able to make some progress a little bit later on. Jack Lever unfortunately retiring during quali pretty early on, as you can see. When we go around the circuit, their wheel will be at the side of the track, unfortunately. The remnants of their collision. But we continue through the session. 7 minutes on the clock. A long way to go, and a lot can be improved on. We've got purple sector there from Charlie, but he's lost it on the exit. Very, very difficult on the traction, as we saw Nifajan lose the car notoriously a few seasons ago. He then did come back to win the Grand Prix the next season after that, so he redeemed himself for that one. But we continue with Charlie. He's going to go across the sector line. We'll see what his time is going to be looking like. Going to be 7 tenths up, so that would be a 27.1. This could put him nicely into P3. He could look at P2 or a P1 if he can find that extra time in the final sector. What's it going to be? One more corner to navigate. Hard on the brakes, up the brake bias a little bit, and then continues. DRS, bit of a distant toe, not going to be that much though. He will cross the line. What's it going to be for Charlie in the Mercedes? It's going to be P3 and a 27.0, just missing out on the 26s.
Yeah, we've noticed Charlie, of course, has had a lot of pace for these last few weekends and showing it once again. We've only been a 10th off of the top two who have been phenomenal throughout the first 5-6 races so far this season. And yet again, Peanut showing why he's the quickest in qualified by putting it on pole, but only half a tenth to Devon Young, so Devon not got much to catch compared to what he did last weekend at Singapore, which I'm sure was a few tenths of a second. At the time, I don't know whether he qualified on pole or not. I'm not too sure, but I'm sure that one thing's for certain, the Peanuts and Devon are still battling out for P1. Charlie, obviously being there, having a bit of inconsistency here and there due to not having the racing line enabled, which is, for people who use it and then come off it, it's a very, very important tool for them to be fast. And someone like Charlie, who just came off it, I know how quick he can be, and for him to only be a 10th off the leaders, he's impressing us quite a lot.
It is very impressive. The benefits that you get of this circuit is that there are lighter braking zones, but also the disadvantage is that the braking points are pretty hard, especially when the braking markers are kind of merged in with the fences. There's not a classic circuit where you can see obvious, you know, the curb ends here, the curb ends there. There are curbs that end and start and whatever, but it's just a little bit more difficult. Luckily though, the traction zones are very easy compared to other circuits to get down. You manage to make that time back up. We've got Matt Mux in P7 at the moment. He continues. At the qualifying session, strategy-wise, Zingy tyres, do they wear much around this circuit in this game or not really?
No, the tyres are actually, they wear a moderate amount. You can definitely do the one-stop medium hard. Soft medium is going to be a bit of a tricky one. If you are looking after the tyres in pit, well, you need to extend the softs. They won't wear as much as you think, but they will have a lot of degrading once they do wear a little bit, so you need to watch out for that. So if you can extend your softs to like lap 9, lap 10, I think roughly would be the time you'd then come into the pits for the mediums, about 14-15 laps and go to the end. But I think most, if not all people, will be definitely doing that hard medium strategy.
Awesome. Alright, we will get Terence in the lobby after this one. I believe Jack Lever is in the lobby, just unfortunately not able to complete qualifying, of course. But yeah, Terence should be with us. They will start at the back again, and they will be starting in a Red Bull car, still scoring points for Aston Martin, however. Purple middle sector, it states, for Matt Merckx. We will see how true that is a little bit later on. Of course, there are a few bugs in the game. Not saying that Matt isn't capable. Back in the day, a few seasons ago, he was fighting for the wins of Stefano, aka Mags, and Mr. 4 as well. Pretty famous name, F1.5 and F1 winner multiple times, first double champion. We go across the line with Matt Max, and he's a 28.2, improves by 6/10, and yeah, not quite into the 27s yet. Still looking for more people to get to the 26s. We've got Senna, who is on his new equipment. It's going to be pretty tough for him to use. Not only is it new equipment, but it's strong equipment as well. And a circuit like this where there's quite a few turns, you do say there's a lot of straights, but there are a lot of turns around this circuit, 27 to be exact. It's going to be tough on the arms. It's going to be very tough, and with the walls being so close as well, it's going to be crucial to be accurate with their inputs. They're going to cross the line to set their first lap of the session, and it's going to be provisional pole by 4/10. That is mega.
No, I was watching the lap through, and I did notice it was able to really wrangle that car through the first and middle sector. The last sector, obviously, it made that mistake of going a bit wide. But yeah, it's showing his good pace on his new equipment, of course, and it was, I'm sure he reported to be 13 nanometers, something like that. I'm not too knowledgeable, you know that I'm a controller player, but seeing him go over that curve right there, if he's going at it at full pelt, well, I'm guessing he'll feel that a lot more than what he would have beforehand with the 7-8 nanometers that he was running previously.
Definitely. It will be a lot heavier. It will be... I'm not entirely sure how close it would be to real life, but it's definitely a step up. And yeah, it should give you more feel, but over a race distance, it's going to be a lot harder to manage. So he has the pace now. It's just whether he can keep that together. But a 26.3, only, well, just over a tenth, maybe a tenth and a half away from yesterday's pole time of a 26.2. Pursuit was hoping to get a 0.0 in qualifying, or even a 25.9, but unfortunately he had that issue on the final lap of the race. But yeah, Senna doing a phenomenal job. We've got Peanuts, Devon Young, they're both on their way out to try and improve and beat this man on track if it's possible. We've got Charlie, who'll start their lap next. They're just warming up their tyres, brake dragging a little bit to get the maximum efficiency. It's just the way it works in this game. That is the meta. It's what you've got to do to gain every advantage you possibly can. Now, DRS open. Zingy, would you be able to take us for a lap with Charlie?
Yeah, coming into turn 1, you want to stick to the right hand side. It's a tough chicane, hard braking, around about the 100-metre board. You can ride the curb on the outside if you want, and he's invalidated the lap already. I don't know if he's going to keep on going. We will see coming into turn 4 now. I don't know what happened in this corner in the race last time. It's very tricky. You can definitely lose your wheel there if you hit the inside wall. Coming through the end of the first sector in just a moment's time, you can just see how flat it is, making a mistake on the curb, hitting the wall, and surely he's got to abandon that now. That's multiple mistakes within a sector, and you can see he's backing it off now. He's already invalidated and he's messed it up, so he's going to just back off for now, and he won't make it actually. He won't make it to the end of the lap, so that will be P4 at best for Charlie in the Mercedes.
What a shame. He was basically facing the wall as he continued round, and maybe didn't know that he'd actually invalidated before. We're on board with Tom Brainer, who misses the apex very slightly. They're going to have to continue, and they will invalidate. So that is another car that allows Charlie to be a bit safer. Now, we've got the top two. They are going to be improving. We're on board with Peanuts. Peanuts might be able to improve. They're up by half a tenth at the moment, going through turn 13. Open the steering up on the exit to get that traction down, straighten up the wheel. Looking pretty good, but they've got to find 4/10, not half a tenth to get to Senna. They're going to have to hope that they can gain most of their time in the middle sector. In the final sector, you can't really gain that much. It's pretty much just straight. DRS available. Get that down immediately. I'm sure they've done that before, so there's not going to be much time gained here. But here is the fast chicane. Full commitment, not riding the curve on exit, and that is perfect. Exactly what you want to do. Bring it to the left to minimise track distance. He does so. And then up on the brake bias as you send it into the final corner. This is where the pressure kicks in. He doesn't hit the apex perfectly, but it's still a decent run. What can he do? DRS for the final time. Peanuts, is it going to be pole position for the Aston Martin? It will not be. He improves. Is it enough to defend from Devon Young, who looks like they're down on their time? I don't think they're going to be able to improve either. Robbo to P4, just missing out on the 26s as he's so close but so far. Devon Young tapping the wall on the exit of the final corner. It's not going to be enough. He backs off. And Senna is looking to take pole position at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. That is his second pole this season. He is on a run recently.
Seems though he's liking this track. I mean, there's that 3-4 tenths to the second place man of Peanuts. I'm sure leading the championship at the moment. Senna, obviously, he joined a race or two late, if I'm not mistaken.
He joined at the start of the season, I believe, or maybe he didn't, but he just didn't make it until the first few races. You're correct.
Okay, yeah. So missing the first few races, and then Senna showing why everyone respects him. He's got a lot of speed under that car, and showing it once again, very close to the walls. Thankfully for himself, not tapping it, and that shows with a pole position lap that is nearly 4 tenths faster than the next man.
It's going to be great to see how he can deal with the race situation. Senna takes pole position, Peanuts in P2, and Devon Young in P3. We go through the race director, instant section, and we'll see you in a bit for the race. Ready? Hold. Go! Who's going to get it into time one? We're away. The Ferrari gets away. Well, I don't think he's going to be contested. That is going to be Devon Young fighting for P2. He's going to get it. There's contact. Peanuts is round. The championship rivals collide. That's going to be Robbo into P3 immediately. There's more cars further off at the back. That's JJ down the order. Tom Brainer also having issues. Charlie stays P4. Monk and Cookie Monster in the Williams following each other through the field. P5 and P6. That's great for them. Jack Lever in this race after their qualifying woes, and they've done a good job to get up the order already. Matt Merckx and Terrence in P9. They've managed to make some positions pretty early on, but Peanuts, Tom Brainer and JJ, I don't know if they were just caught up unnecessarily or not, but that is going to be Cookie Monster off into the wall, getting damaged early on. Monk gets the position, and here comes Jack Lever to go around the outside. No, he's going to have to tuck in, and he's going to look at the switchback.
Yeah, Jack Lever on the soft tyre. He can have a lot of grip thus far, trying to get around the outside of the Williams. Oh, Monk getting the slipstream of Charlie as well, coming into turn 23, one of the fastest and scariest corners. Also, Monk backs off, and Jack Lever up into the top 5 of the Grand Prix, riding that curb a little bit, compromising his exit, and that's going to allow Charlie to get away just a tad bit. But on those soft tyres, he's absolutely flying. Someone else who is to his Terrence, he made a fantastic overtake around the outside of Peanuts, I'm sure it was, and now he's ahead of Cookie Monster, who of course has damage. I just wanted to note before anything else happens, as we see Jack Lever overtaking Charlie with no problem whatsoever, that it looks, well, from lap 1, Robbo locked his brakes a little bit and tapped Peanuts round. I don't know if Robbo has damage because of that, but it seems as though for now he's able to keep his position in P3 and keep up with the top two.
He continues. There's a high chance of a safety car around this circuit with the walls being so close, so he might as well give it a shot. And he's got a big gap to the car behind, so he's doing a good job to stay close to the cars in front, which would suggest that he's not actually struggling that much.
Charlie and Jack Lever both riding that curb like it's Subway Surfers, and it looks as though Monk has made that position up into P5 once again, obviously losing it to Jack Lever and gaining it back because of the misfortune of Charlie. Peanuts now. Did you say he has damage? I'm not too sure. It looks as though he's managing to pick up the pace though, and he's going to be all over the back of Charlie by the end of this lap.
Sure he is, both on the equal tyres. Sorry, not on the equal tyres. Charlie Monk going for that hard tyre. That medium tyre is going to be absolutely outrageous, and he's going to use the energy to try and make use of the tyre advantage as best as he can. Just combine them together and make this progress that he was so hoping to not have to do early on in this Grand Prix. Peanuts just never seems to be able to get a good start to a Grand Prix, but always finishes on a pretty good high sometimes. That was Robbo missing out, making a mistake and losing out to DRS. Manages to gain it back, doesn't get DRS yet, but Senna is going to go into the lead of the lose the lead of the Grand Prix as Devon Young takes it for the first time this evening. This is what I was expecting. The race pace, could it be changing? The qualifying pace was dominant. Devon Young now has the lead. They're on equal tyres. We will see who is able to take charge of this race right now.
Well, I know I keep on saying this every time these two together, but Devon Young definitely wants to get away from Robbo, as these two teams always come into contact whenever they are racing. So Devon trying to build out that gap, Senna making a mistake, riding the curb a bit too much, thus losing a bit of time to the Red Bull. He needs to make sure he doesn't drop out of DRS, otherwise he's going to be gobbled up by the McLaren of Robbo, who is showing great pace at the moment. Last weekend around Singapore, he had okay pace, I'm sure, but it wasn't as good as he's showing right now. Of course, battery looking a bit low for the McLaren in comparison to the top two, but it looks as though he's able to manage the pace, and this allows him to have that DRS effectiveness down both straights.
For sure, it will allow him to defend.
BSC.
That's going to be a yellow. That's someone round, don't know who. Someone's got damage. It must be someone further behind, which we'll go and have a look. It's going to be JJ, is it?
I'm looking to see. There was debris off the exit of turn 19. I don't know. It's the one before. It's the after the long left-hander that it actually came. If you go on board the Cookie Monster, we should be able to see that there is bits of carbon fibre. So I don't know if it is JJ. He looks unaffected. Let's see if it's been cleaned up or not. Looks so, yeah, it has. I don't know who it was. We'll be able to see it's Robbo. Robbo's in the pits.
Peanuts
not for our
too.
front wing. Peanuts in the pits. Perhaps maybe it was his front wing. Robbo just taking an early chance to pit onto hards. Like we seen just a few hours ago in the real life race. Those guys pit onto hards very early. It looks as though, yes, it was Peanuts who had that collision with the wall, losing a bit of his front wing and therefore having to change it, going onto another set of mediums. So he thinks his pace is good to do an extra stop. Obviously not losing as much time as you would under the VSC. And that's unfortunate because Peanut showed good pace, but perhaps pushing a bit too hard initially, and then has made that mistake and lost a bit of his running.
Quickly having a look at Robbo on this tyre as he goes for the restart. We get those green flags. Now, we saw yesterday Zingy, of course, going for that undercut against Passoon's overcut. I don't quite know the details, but it would maybe suggest that cold tyres really do affect you. He has done a significant undercut, lost a lot less time than he would have before, so he is going to gain quite a lot, especially if the top two fight. They've got to make sure that they don't. They have to realise that, otherwise it's going to be game over. But I don't know, they might not work as well as they expect them to. The mediums are absolutely insane around this circuit, so I think they will probably be able to give him a good shot. It's going to be 50-50 towards the end of the Grand Prix. Robbo's given himself the best chance he possibly can, although I am interested that he's decided to throw away a DRS train for that risky strategy.
Well, you can see ahead of him and behind him, there's absolutely no one. So he's seen a gap and he wanted to slot into it, and it looks as though he's going to have a lot of time. It's going to be about 9 seconds as Tom Brain is disconnected at the moment. Hopefully we can get him back soon, but Robbo having a lot of space behind and in front of him to just do his own pace. He's confident enough that his tyres and his own raw pace is enough to push him up the order. But my issue is he's going to have dead tyres toward the end of the race. Everyone's going to compare onto hards about 10 laps later than him. Yes, he'll be a bit ahead, but will he have enough of a gap, that he keeps the advantage on track, or will he lose it all in the end?
Depends on the traffic, of course, later on into the Grand Prix. Right now it looks like it's going to be pretty clear for him, but as we saw yesterday with PJ, those fresher tyres just really do help. Even though you go later into the Grand Prix, they do help a lot. Charlie, very close to the back of his fellow hard tyre runner. It seems like Jack Lever's pace has dropped off already on the soft tyre, but I don't know. Zingy, how long does each tyre go would you say you would want to go? As I quickly just try and get Tom Brainer back into the lobby. Nope, we're going to have a look at this battle actually. Monk is going to be looking to go for the move on Jack Lever already. Those soft tyres just don't seem to be working for him, and he's going to try and clear them as soon as he can.
Yeah, Jack Lever, as you say, the soft tire is not working, but he does have the DRS. He's got the DRS, so he can use it again coming into turn 1. Charlie, on the other hand, using a lot of his battery, dumping it into 1. It looks as though he's going to go for the double overtake on the Williams and Alfa Romeo, but it looks as though he backed out of both moves, interestingly. He's going to look for that switchback on Monk coming into turn 4. A very dangerous place to do it, definitely. Whoever's ahead must have to get the position, and the other person will have to back out, and it looks as though none of them have, but Charlie has made that decisive move up at the 4th place, and with Jack Lever's tyres dying off only after 4 laps, it's crucial that he gets this move done quickly.
That is how you make an overtake at that corner. Very well done to both drivers to get there side by side. We're going to go through the with the race leaders at the moment, just quickly, whilst we try and get Terence back in the lobby. Zingy, what would you want to be doing? Would you want to be P1, P2 in this train?
I personally would like to not control the pace, but control my fate. Being P2 is definitely better on track if you guys have similar pace, which obviously these two do have. So I wouldn't mind staying second place for the whole race and then launching an attack. I would perhaps try and do things that might scare Devin Young, or well, Senna now, and make him use his battery, so that for when I'm going to attack on the last few laps, he doesn't have as much to defend with. But I don't know how he's going to do that.
For sure. You've got Monk, who tried to give it a go on Charlie, but actually backed out, almost made contact again. Jack Lever still in front, but this time Charlie will have an easier move to get past the Alfa Romeo. They will not have to give it in. That being said, they're still side by side going into the braking zone. He's looking for the switchback. He doesn't have the Williams to block him. He's going to get the better exit. He's going to try and go for a second overtake at one of the most dangerous corners of the circuit. The Alfa Romeo slightly backs out. Oh, Charlie goes off the circuit. I don't know how he's going to feel about that one. Jack Lever manages to make it work, but it's very close between the two.
I mean, oh no, Monk! It looks as though he's rode the curb of death. He's lost the car again, losing a lot of time in comparison to Terence and Jack Lever. He's now 3 seconds back. Matt Merckx nearly crashes into the back of him, but gets the position up into P6. So Monk on the best strategy, but has lost a lot of time to everyone around him, which is really going to compromise him. And especially with Matt Merckx on those diminishing medium tyres, he's going to struggle to not necessarily get past them, but keep up the pace, especially with him in front.
Sure. Not entirely sure what's happened to Terence. He's minus 20 seconds behind everybody right now. We'll see if we can see...
You mean Tom Brainer?
Yeah, sorry, Tom Brainer. We'll see if maybe that changes from a little bit later into the Grand Prix. Can't quite tell. Now, we have got the 2 medium tyre runners. At the front of the pack, we've got Charlie, who's the hard tyre runner, but he is fighting a little bit with these other guys. Only 11 seconds away, but still, that is a big gap, and it's exactly what we saw yesterday. Starting on the softer compound tyre does really get you away from the pack, and it's very valuable compared to starting on the hard tyre and being swarmed by the pack. That is what made it so easy for Pursoon to be able to basically, well, he was P2 on exit of the pit lane after making his pit stops. So that just shows you that medium tyre is really the one that you wanted to start on. The top 2, they either lucked it or did their homework. I'm not entirely sure. Peanuts has definitely also tried to make it work, although they've made a pit stop, so I've just completely scratched that. We'll see how it goes. Robbo has called up to the pack here, and he's going to be making that move on Monk, who makes a mistake and loses out. Matt Merckx is going to be up in front, so he's not going to be able to get in a tow. Monk's still stuck his nose in, but he's not going to get that exit compared to a fresher set of hard tyres.
Yeah, 3 lap difference between the medium and the hard tyres in terms of laps, which is going to be a lot more than Monk's hards compared to Robbo's hards. And you can just see on the exit, Matt Merckx losing the back end here, there, and everywhere. And it looks as though Robbo, without any shadow of a doubt, is going to make that move up into P6, into turn 23. A bit dangerous, flying down the inside, make sure he doesn't push him. Oh, he's pushed him off a little bit. It's fine though, he did keep it, give him space, and Matt Merckx did go cautiously wide. It looks as though Monk has seen the fact that Robbo's battery is flashing a lot. No battery left from McLaren. It looks as though Monk is going to go right around the outside of Robbo, and Robbo retaining the position nicely there. And it looks as though Monk is going to get a second dose of DRS coming down the main straight. As Jack leaver boxes, Monk is going to make that position now up into P5. And it looks as though Matt Merckx is also going to overtake Robbo coming into turn 1. P7 for the McLaren now. He's been battling these guys for half a lap. He's losing so much time compared to the front runners, and Robbo's only made it up into P6 because of Monk's incredible defence.
Absolutely amazing. It's exactly what Robbo does not need right now, and this is what I was saying about being on a harder tyre. I know these guys are on the slightly more worn tyres, but Matt Merckx having that softer grip, that was a close call. Robbo reacts incredibly well. There is going to be a virtual safety car, which is going to be great for Robbo's race. It might end before the top 2 get to the pit lane. He's going to hope that is the case, of course, but he finally clears those cars. He's got a 5-second gap in front, which he could possibly break away. This is the difference between making Robbo have an opportunity at winning this race and losing this race, because if these guys can get an opportunity to pit, I think they have to take it. Really, this stage of the race, they will be able to go onto that hard tyre compound as well. At a 20-second gap Robbo has right now, that was costly to have that issue. They are going to get a pit stop. How much time are they going to gain? I'm not entirely sure, but they are going to gain a decent amount.
Yeah, I'm not sure, as you say, but it looks as though they're going to gain quite a bit of time. Robbo on those, how many lap old? 5 lap old hard tyres now. That's going to be detrimental to his race. He's just coming around the last corner now. Charlie is the next competitor who will definitely take the lead of the Grand Prix on the hard tyres. He just needs to stick it out. The VSC, I think, will be ending very shortly. Senna and Devin Young looks as though they've done enough. DRS is now enabled. Robbo is going to be flying towards turn 1, however, on the warmer tyres. It looks as though he's going to get ahead of Devin Young just about, but Senna is on those freezing cold hards. You can just see that Senna has no pace or traction, and Robbo has taken the lead of the Grand Prix temporarily. Good strategy for him to get him into the lead, but will he be able to hold on for the next 16 laps?
For the sake of maintenance and the gap that he was hoping to create on the other cars to make the difference on the tyre wear later on in the Grand Prix, it doesn't look like it's ideal, does it? But we'll see. Hard tyres definitely have less difference in tyre wear, but yeah, DRS, ERS is going to have to be Robbo's friend here. He's going to have to be very strategic in how he uses it and saves it. And I think he's just going to have to let them be. If they overtake him, they overtake him. Obviously, he doesn't want them to overtake him to use their peak performance, but he doesn't really have a choice, as Senna had a bit of an interesting look. Didn't make it work, just drove straight into the back of Robbo there.
I think he was meant to back off there, but I didn't realise the closing speed. Obviously not wanting to make the move into turn 22. You can just see the straight line speed of both cars flying past Robbo like he's nothing. And it looks as though Devin Young is going to make the move on Senna into the last corner. Who's going to get the DRS? It looks as though it's going to be Devin. No, it's actually Senna and Robbo who get the DRS once again. Robbo able to save his battery under the VSC, not making the move down the inside. Senna will, of course, retake that lead of the Grand Prix, which he's been having for most of the race. The hard tyres are now heated up. Robbo went for a move that wasn't really on there and has made contact with the Red Bull, and that is him now down into P4 and with 6/10 already put on him.
Yep, that wasn't ideal. He needed to kind of not let that one go, but minimise the damage that it would be done, and unfortunately tried to take a risk and it didn't work out. That could very possibly allow the top two to break away here. So yeah, it's difficult. He's using the energy to try and catch back up again. We'll see. The next kind of tyre strategy situation we've got with Peanuts, he's in P5. He is 6 seconds away. Not that far away, and he's going to be fast for now, but he will probably, I assume, have to make another pit stop. Unfortunately, Tom Brainer has to go into the pit lane, having issues, it seems, and he's retired the car early to avoid any more struggles. Unfortunately, it's such a shame to see this happen at this circuit, but we'll look forward to the next race for him. Hopefully he can get a good result. Peanuts, of course, yeah, as I said, P5. He's got a difficult race ahead of him. He's just got to wait for that safety car.
Must I say that gap at the top, from Senna and Devon to Charlie's, came down at least a few seconds within one lap. You can visibly see Charlie now from Senna's POV. It looks as though Devon Young is not going to make that move into turn one, and Robbo has been dropped by these two. So a second roughly within a lap shows how much new tyres do mean around every track on this game. Common knowledge at this point. Robbo tried to do something different, perhaps maybe wants to close that gap and make a second stop later on, but with that VSC it's really screwed him over, and it looks as though Robbo is going to be looking more behind them than in front of him these next few laps.
Opinions on Charlie's strategy. He's almost about to get overtaken by the guys behind, who are on significantly better tyres. They've already got DRS by going through sector 1, of course, of all the corners. He's trying to go a lot later on to have that fresher tyre. Will he go for the soft tyre to end this Grand Prix? It looks like he might as well at this stage. He's gone so long into the race. I don't quite know. What do you think? Is it a good strategy from him?
He just has to run the fastest race he possibly can, Aaron. The thing is, he's on that strategy right now, and he's about to be overtaken for the lead by Senna. He puts up a bit of a defence in fairness to him, but he can't afford to lose too much time battling people who are not part of his race. Devon Young looking for the move on Senna, and he'll be no doubt looking to overtake Charlie coming into turn 27, the last corner of the track. Charlie going to the outside, not defending much. He's going to look for that DRS. Senna just ran right into the back of him there and has forced him a bit wide, and that's going to allow Senna to get past him. Charlie is going to be using that battery like no tomorrow. He knows if he can just stick within DRS of these guys, he's going to be running great pace. Charlie not making the move on Devon Young, but Senna most definitely will be on the Mercedes. The switchback will be available if he gets a good exit, but those 12 lap-old tyres, it looks as though he's not going to be able to make that move, and Charlie now just needs to use that battery efficiently and stay with these top two.
I think he was looking to get the switch back on the exit of turn 27, didn't work out, and that's maybe what the what happened with Senna. Miscommunication between the drivers, got to be very careful. Charlie was then boxed into turn 1, couldn't get a better braking zone, and that allowed Senna to swoop through and get a pretty easy move in the end. They continue their pursuit of Devon Young. They will continue to battle it out to the very final few laps. The last time we saw this at Saudi Arabia was, of course, with Cohen and Robbo for the final lap, the final corner. They were across the line of photo finish, more or less. It was a crazy one for sure. Devon Young is leading this time around, and Senna. Completely different drivers in this battle, of course. And unfortunately for Robbo, 2.5 seconds away now, just losing more and more time. Maybe he does actually have damage after that little issue. I'm not entirely sure. Senna makes the move to make sure that he knows, or make sure that Devon knows that he's still there and he's not going to let him go that easy, of course. Charlie goes into the pit lane.
Yeah, Charlie making a sensible move to probably pit onto the mediums towards the end of the Grand Prix. This is a lap you really want to pit onto those fresh tyres. You can see the medium from the Mercedes boys coming out the pit lane now. He's going to do 11 laps. He's extended the stint very well. He will come out around about Jack Lever, I think, if not JJ, between one of them two, I'm sure. Coming down 37 mile an hour, a very slow pit lane. You can see Jack Lever on the left-hand side of your screen here, and it looks as though he might get that move into turn 1. Remember, there's a shorter distance between the pit lane and turn 2 from the exit, but it looks as though Charlie is in P7, a lot fresher tyres than everyone around him, and now it's his time to really push and see what he can do for these last 12 laps.
I'm surprised he didn't stay another 2 or 3 laps and then go for the softs. That's what PJ did yesterday, and he managed to get 16 seconds on Gilly. Of course, Gilly was on really, really old tyres, but it wouldn't have been impossible for him to catch. He's now got, 12 seconds to catch to Peanuts, so it might be possible for him to get to a 10-lap old medium tyre runner, but it looks like Peanuts is going to have to probably end up either pitting within the next 2 laps of softs and hope that he can make that time, or he is going to have to try and hold it out and stay to the end of this Grand Prix. We'll have to see, but he's already closing in, Charlie, onto Jack Lever, might look for a move.
I mean, you can just see the grip difference on this Charlie. It's like he's not even trying. Just the grip is so substantial for the Mercedes. Jack Lever going to burn the battery a little bit, but then realises that he probably will make that move into the last corner. No doubt about it. He'll be looking for that switchback that Charlie did on old tyres, which he could succeed in. Jack Lever, not a bad exit considering the tyre difference. With the DRS enabled now, can he make Charlie's life living hell and go up to the inside and make him lose a bunch of time? The outside line is preferred by the Alfa Romeo. Down to turn 1, you can just see Charlie has outbroke himself actually. Oh my goodness, Charlie's outbroken himself into turn 1, a rare mistake from the Mercedes, and it looks as though he's going to have to try that all again with using less ERS, as he's burnt quite a lot there trying to get past in the first place.
Maybe the tyres are still a little bit cold and he's tried to be a bit of a hero. It could have worked, but it just didn't as he wanted to. He was hoping to get into the lead of the battle, of course, as we went into the first sector, because that would have been his chance to break away. He's now going to have to try and think a little bit harder and be strategical with the ERS, because he doesn't want to burn too much, especially at this stage of the race. He needs to try and wait for a more important opportunity. That being said, it's pretty important to get in front of the older tyre runner. He needs to be careful he doesn't do that again. He doesn't want to get himself a track limit penalty, of course. DRS will be available for him and he will give it a second shot very shortly. We'll come through the fast chicane and we'll see if he's going to get that run. He's closed massively as you get to the end. There's a big mistake there for Jack Lever and a 3-second time penalty. DRS is going to be available, and I think this is going to be the chance that Charlie will go for it. He doesn't use the energy, so he is going to try and play a bit of DRS games. Is he? He is, and he's done it. That is going to be pretty hard braking, but it forces Jack Lever into an odd line. He loses the car on the exit, and it is going to be side by side. Going to be careful he doesn't squeeze him too hard. He's going to get the advantage no matter what. That's going to be Charlie's move. I think he's not going to be able to come back from that one.
As long as Charlie doesn't lock it to turn 1. Again, going wide, even though his tyres should be up to temp now. Maybe just a bit under pressure from the Alfa Romeo. But he's got 7 seconds to catch the Terrence with 10 laps to go. I'm sure he can do that. We've seen a lot of pace from Charlie, although making a few mistakes. I'm sure, without a doubt, he'll be able to catch Terrence, who's running a solid P5 considering what's happened throughout this race. Terrence could stop the now and go on to soft tyres, as you say, get an undercut on Peanuts. Obviously, he's not going to pass him, but that's going to allow him to really get back up into that 6th place, which realistically he's going to finish in anyway, and probably get the fastest lap as well. Would you, as Terrence, go for that extra stop, get the softs, and go for the fastest lap? And this time, preferably without someone bidding it.
No, I don't think I would. I think I would probably try and stay out. Because we could see an issue for Peanuts. He could possibly gain a position from that one. Issue?
I think Monk made a mistake into turn 1. Has he got his front wing still intact? It looks like he has. Maybe just a spin off in the chicane. Obviously very difficult to control the car. And look who it is in for his second pit stop of today. Robbo with that VSC strategy call, going onto the medium tyres for the rest of the race. Obviously the soft will die off towards the end, so making a logical decision to go onto that medium tyre. 8-9 laps on them should be fine. You won't lose so much time. He's going to have to overtake a few people. Senna's out! Senna's out of the Grand Prix! There's a safety at VSC! What's happened there?
I do not believe it. He's exited turn 12 and spun the car on the curb. I think he spun it on the left curb. No, it's spun it on the, I don't know, spun it on the left or the right curve, bounced across the circuit and into the wall. The pole sitter and the race winner from 2 races ago is out of the Grand Prix. Devon Young now leads and is going to get a 4-point difference on Peanuts. A virtual safety car only is deployed. That is going to be perfect. Peanuts might be able to get into the pit lane if he's lucky and get a, well, what is a probably needed pit stop. Robbo's going to be not too disappointed with that because he's gained some time.
Oh, no.
Charlie gets a drive-through penalty. There's more drama. That is absolutely mental. Devon Young is going to be loving this.
The thing is, it was looking so good for Senna. He was P2. He could have won the Grand Prix. Made that mistake, of course, probably riding the curb and smashing into the inside wall. And it looks as though, from what it looked like being a comfortable Devon and Senna 1 and 2, it looks as though I forgot the name of the team. Aston Martin, sorry. They will be. Peanuts will be pitting, sorry. I don't know what's happening here. This is going to allow Terrence, his teammate, although in the Red Bull car, that's why I've been so confused, up into P2. So it says it's a Red Bull 1-2, but in reality, it is an Aston Martin in P2, just with the Red Bull livery. Terrence, obviously, you say starting from the back. It looks as though that alternate strategy has been paying off so far. Charlie, 5 seconds back, but we don't need to worry about him. We need to worry about more so Robbo, who has just made that move on Jack Lever into turn 1, and that is going to be him up into P4, and it's going to be him 8 seconds away from Terrence with 8 to go. I'm sure that is 7 or 8 laps to go. Can he do it? Make it do it? Can he do it?
He is going to be absolutely rapid. I think he might be able to get the job done.
Oh,
that's going to be at the race. That is going to be
another
another virtual safety car. No full safety car again. So Peanuts is going to be furious, by the way. He might be able to break away. Devon Young has got an opportunity to pit and go for the fastest lap.
yeah, of course it does. Devon could pit and go for that soft tyre, push towards the end. Terrence, unfortunately, won't be able to make that pit stop along with him, considering how slow the mechanics are in this game. Is an absolute joke. So Terrence is a little bit screwed over in the sense that he can't make that stop. And the safety cars actually came in already. He will retain the lead, Devon Young, so don't worry about that. He will retain that first place, but it has came in very, very early. Devon onto that soft compounded tyre, a new set of softs that he was probably able to keep from qualifying, because I'm sure he only done 2 runs. Terrence coming for the last corner up to the line. You'll be able to see him from Devon Young's camera on the left-hand side once again. He will overtake him temporarily. Terrence shouldn't get into the lead of the Grand Prix. I'm not too sure. It's going to be close between the Red Bulls. Devon Young is going to have that traction and momentum on the outside, and he's just about kept the lead of the Grand Prix. Devon P2. Charlie's not one to worry about, and it's going to be Robbo in that P3 spot once Charlie has that drive through.
It's a lot closer than Devon would have wanted it, but to be honest, Terrence, if he thinks about it, he cannot risk it. He is looking like it's going to be a very promising points position. It should be a podium. We'll see how it goes. Of course, Charlie will have to go into the pit lane, so Robbo isn't going to have to make that overtake on Charlie. Very unlikely to, of course. Jack Lever P5, he's on those older tyres. Peanuts is going purple. Will it be the fastest lap? I'm not entirely sure. It is very possible that he can get the job done, but it's just how far can he get to? He will get that move on Charlie. He is looking like he'll get that move on Jack Lever, regardless if he gets it on track or not. He'll have that time penalty advantage. Would he be able to get to Robbo on those shush tyres? I'm not quite sure, but he's going to just try and have damage limitation on Devon Young, and Devon Young is looking to get maximum points today.
Well, do I go for a lap of him doing the fastest lap, or do you want me to do it?
Go for it.
Well, hopefully this time it hasn't messed up. Charlie, of course, making that mistake in qualifying, but Devon, P1 at the moment, and it looks as though he's going to go for that fastest lap into turn 1 and 2. Never mind, we're going to look at Charlie, who in protest hasn't gone into the pits for his penalty, and is going to get disqualified by the game because he didn't serve his drive-through penalty on time. I was going to go for a lap of Devon Young setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, But Charlie's now out of the race, and that elevates Jack Lever up to P4. Peanuts will be still battling for something then. P4 is not too bad considering all that's happened this race. The Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo will be fighting here. 11 versus 2 lap old tyres for the Aston Martin and Alfa Romeo respectively. You can just see Jack Lever struggling in abundance, and it looks as though Peanuts is going to make that move coming into the fast left-hander. Jack Lever using all the batteries, squeezing the Aston Martin off to the left-hand side, but you can just see the superior grip is sending him up the inside and up into P4.
Almost losing the car and into the wall for Jack Lever, but there's going to be no contest. He's almost going to break away DRS. I think Jack Lever will hold on to it, but Peanuts knew that he just had to make that move sooner rather than later, and use these tyres as he wishes. DRS will be available, but he will not be able. I don't believe to close it back. He might do enough, but anyway, it is what it is. And unfortunately, he is going to have to look to defending from Matt Marks. That is the fastest lap of the Grand Prix for Devon Young. Peanuts, he's on the older tyre. His peak performance will have gone, and he's not got that much energy, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to bring that back. Of course, we look at the fastest lap really quick, and that is a hell of a difference. That just shows you how hard it is with cars around you, of course, compared to clean air. Well done to Devon Young, looking like it's going to be a good race for him at this stage of the Grand Prix. We go back to the gaps now, though. Terence, 8 seconds. That soft tyre is absolutely mega. Robbo, he is closing in. Will it be enough, though?
He keeps on making mistakes here and there, and it looks so he will catch Terence with a few laps to go. Charlie leaving the session after that disqualification, and it looks as though that Robbo will catch him, but will he be able to pass him? We've seen earlier on in the race today that Ollie Behrman, a rookie, was able to hold off Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris on a bit. I'm sure he had a lot older tyres, didn't he? It was soft versus hard. Will Terence be able to do the same? The game is a bit more unrealistic in terms of tyre wear, so Robbo will always have the advantage even if he is pushing them more. And that raises the question, can Robbo pass or catch up and pass Terence?
It's possible. 3.4 seconds. Not too many laps to go, but you can see the Red Bull in the distance. He is pretty close. I think it's going to be possible for Robbo to get that podium. Peanuts, he's going to be catching up. Terence will have to try and do his teammate a favour here, because that soft tyre will be quick. It will be very quick. But he's still going to need a bit of help if he does want to try and make an extra move.
Oh.
That is going to be a yellow. That's a full safety car. That is JJ making contact with Cookie Monster, who's had that issue, it seems like. He does still have a full front wing. JJ not so much, though. Will we see some people go into the pit lane? We will. Peanuts.
Peanuts, Jack Lever, and I think everyone else behind will make that decision to pit people with damage, of course. Now, obviously you're going to say yes, but do you think Devon will think to pit, or do you reckon he'll stay out?
Well, if you look at it, yeah, well, he's still got the Delta. He hasn't caught the safety car because he was able to overtake it before, so that's very lucky for his sake. But I don't know.
2 recent laps, though.
Yeah, we haven't got many laps, so that's what I'm thinking about. And I don't know. Obviously, if he does pit, Terence doesn't. Terence will lead the Grand Prix. That being said, Devon will still catch the safety car. He might just lose track position. And his threat, of course, would be Peanuts, who could win that Grand Prix. I think he has to do it, you know. I think if he goes for the pit stop, Terence goes for it. I think Robbo's going to go for it possibly anyway, because he's got a 29-second gap. He will not lose anything. So yeah, I think Devon Young goes for it. Terence will follow in automatically. He just has to go for it. There's no way that he stays out.
The only thing I'm scared about is this double stack. It's unfortunate that they have been paired up in a certain team. Of course, Terence not joining in time. And it looks so, will he be able to get into the pits, or will he stay out? But thankfully, Terence does pit. I know there's been a few times where he stayed out and been swallowed up on the safety car. He has learned his lesson, thankfully. Robbo also comes into the pits and realises that Terence is going to get held up here. The team have just got out in time, never mind. Perhaps the Red Bull mechanics are actually as good as we think they are, and they finally I don't know if they fixed the bug or what, but finally a kind of double stack works. I'm very impressed by that.
They're about 14 seconds away. Usually, if you are somewhat close, it's about a 6-second gap that you need to get a somewhat smooth double stack where the pit crews stay out. I think the pit crew had time to go back in and come back out. So they were fortunate in that situation. He does maintain track position. They will catch to the safety car as well. We're gonna get, I reckon Matt Merckx will catch to the safety car, but other than that, I think it's not going to be that easy for Cookie Monster and JJ to get there.
Imagine the safety car that comes in the last lap. I've said it so many times before, but with JJ and... have they got a glitch by any chance? Can you just look at these two here?
Yeah, they do have a glitch. I don't know what their idea was there.
No, that's smart. I know it's not really what you should do, but in that situation, he spun it around so JJ gets a position, and it's not recognised him as a car that you can't overtake. So, not the most efficient way of doing it, but at least it's done now. JJ in P7, Cookie Monster P8, and now they should be able to catch that safety car before the end of the lap, I'd presume. I mean, you can just see how slow Bert Meinlander in that safety car is going at the moment. And it looks as though, yeah, I mean, without any issues, we should get a race back underway with 2 to go, with everyone on the same tyre, full ERS, full of adrenaline, ready to fight. We've seen multiple times before that there's been some crazy outcomes, some crashes, all the above in this league, that's for sure. A lot of entertainment. And the safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. No last lap safety car for us, sadly. But it's going to be Devin Young, followed by Terrence and Robbo, the top 3.
Here we go, safety car restart. The fastest lap will also be in jeopardy, which is a shame for Devin Young, but he's looking for the maximum points. The safety car is not in the pit lane yet. It's got a long way to go. So he's going to have to warm up those tyres, bunch the pack up, see what he can get done. Devin Young leads the Grand Prix. Terrence is the one to react. When will he go for it? The safety car into the pit lane now. He can go at any point here. They are so close together, Robbo and Terrence. Got to be careful. Jack Lever all the way to the inside, looking for opportunities as soon as he sees that car go, and Terrence does not react too well. Devin Young is going to lead. I don't think he's going to get a contest. It's going to be Robbo, though, who wants to go for that P2 immediately. Here is for the podium. He's going to swoop around the outside. That is a move. Peanuts is going to make contact with his teammate. He's in the wall. I do not believe it. Jack Lever's involved. Unfortunately for him, that was absolutely terrible. That's going to be Matt Merckx, who also gains the position on Terrence. Terrence has gone from P2 to P6 in a matter of corners. That is contact between the two teammates. That's the worst thing that you can ever get in a race.
Jack Lever almost smashing it into the wall there as we see Terrence finally getting back under the way, but yeah, not a good restart from the Aston Martin. It looked as though it was caught napping by Devin Young a little bit. It was Jack Lever, yeah, he's the one that's got the damage, sorry, and it looks as though he's going to be under pressure from Matt Merckx. Terrence has made his way back up here, obviously because Jack Lever holding up the AlphaTauri. He's still got a chance of getting P4, and perhaps more of 10 penalties could be applied after the race. I'm not too sure at the moment, but Jack Lever's going to have sublime pace on the straights at least with that front wing damage. It might not be much, but it's definitely worth something.
Gone over the curve a little bit and he does have that time penalty, so it is probably going to be Matt Merckx making that move sooner rather than later. We're going to look at the top 2. I thought they would have probably been maybe a little bit closer. DRS will not be enabled. Robbo's trying to use the battery to his advantage, keep the pressure on Devin Young and maybe have a go on the final lap, but Devin Young, he looks like he's controlling it, even though he's not quite a second away. That is Matt Merckx looking to the inside line. He's not going to give it a shot. He is going to continue. Jack Lever's allowed to do this because it is the final lap of the Grand Prix. Doesn't look like he has so much damage that he can't not continue. He's just got to be very careful, of course, in this scenario. And yeah, Matt Merckx isn't going to be too happy, but he'll still look at a P4 if the time penalty is applied, of course, to Jack Lever, who is, it's not great with the track limits. It's not also going to be great for his exit speed, and he's going to make that move eventually. It was a nice fight, but it's just not quite going to work out. He takes the high line. He's giving it everything he can. I think that's going to be over. We're going to have to look at the top 2, though. This is for the race lead, and DRS is available. No ERS is available, so will it be enough? Devin Young is not flashing. He still has a lot of control in this Grand Prix. It could be a lot closer than I thought, though. Robbo, final opportunity. He's using everything. He's gone on 0. Devon Young is flashing. He's gapped him by a lot. He's going to get DRS one more time. He's not going to get DRS. He's going to get a toe one more time as Robbo. It's not going to be enough. Devon Young is going to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. This is brilliant for the championship. What a drive. And Robbo in P2 after a great recovery after all his issues. Peanuts as well, P3 on the podium. P4 for Matt Merckx. Terence in P5. Jack Lever. JJ jumps him. Cookie Monster at the back of the field. Terence is going to be pretty much furious to that one.
I would be very angry if that were time to. Oh wait, it happened to me. Now that I think about it, last laps for some people are just not meant to be, and it looks as though Terrence is the one that has been unfortunate there. But Devon Young, he's been controlling this race throughout. He has won the Grand Prix with Robbo with a great fight back after that. Interesting strategy call. And P3 goes to Peanuts, who had a bit of a controversial coming together with his own teammate, Terence driving the day, but it could have been so much more for the Aston Martin.
For sure, and for the entire team, really, for Aston Martin. Peanuts had a good opportunity to make that move anyway, but tried to be a bit more aggressive. Devon Young takes the win. Robbo in P2, Peanuts in P3, Matt Merckx, Terence, JJ, Jack Lever, Cookie Monster, Monk, Senna, Tom Brainer, and Charlie, with, of course, Monk, Senna, Tom Brainer, and Charlie retiring earlier on. DSQ for Charlie's sake. Going through the instance section, of course, the race director as needed. And that is 2 positions over his championship rival Devon Young, and maintains that fastest lap as well, more importantly. So he has had an absolute mega day for his championship. He's going to be happy with that one. We'll be back for the post-race interviews. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the post-race interviews of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. That was a mental one. We start with probably one of the craziest drivers of all time this race, Senna. That was absolutely tragic. Pole position by a massive margin.
Expected to be that much ahead in quali as well because I literally did nothing for this Grand Prix. So it came to shocker. I was in a call with Devin and Vince, and I was saying I was literally in pure awe, to be honest.
Fair enough.
And for the race itself, I struggled a bit with the higher fuel loads because I did 3 TT laps and then went into qualifying, which was low fuel as well. So I struggled in the beginning a lot, and it got a bit better. So I was on Devin's pace, and we were working together a lot. And then tragic struck.
What happened with the crash, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I was struggling on that particular corner the whole race. I was basically skating over that. I wanted a Lightning McQueen where I was like a ka-chow on there. But yeah, the thing is, I was talking about my new wheelbase, and I said I can feel a lot better when the car is sliding. And literally 0.5 seconds after I said that, I killed myself into the wall. So it might not be the case then.
It's a shame, but it shows the potential's there. It's going to be an exciting one for the next Grand Prix. Do you like Silverstone? Do you like sprint races as well?
No, I do. I don't like sprint race because they give me a bit more pressure, and I crack under pressure. I know for myself, but I do like Silverstone, so we'll see how that goes.
Awesome. I hope it goes well for you there. Thank you very much for the race, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
We move on to Devin Young. Devin, that was not too easy at the end, but it worked out pretty nicely. Can you take us through that one?
Yeah, definitely worked out nicely in the end. Most of the race pretty easy. I was with Sen and Vince in a call, which was quite a last minute thing. Usually, obviously, I have my teammate Ogio that I talk to, but he wasn't racing today, so I decided to stay in the call with Sen and Yaramir, which turned out to be a good idea because, as you probably saw, me and Sen were working together for most of the race, and we pretty much cruised for a lot of it until, unfortunately, he had a little mistake, as he said, as he was talking about his new equipment, which was quite amusing. Obviously, very sad to see him crash. I thought it was going to be nice for us to get a 1-2, but unfortunate. But yeah, like you say, at the end of the race, came down to it a little bit. Definitely not as easy as I thought it was going to be. But then again, I think in the early stages, I was getting quite lucky with the amount of virtual safety cars we were getting, rather than safety cars. So I think it was fair that we had a full safety car at the end there, just to spice things up a little bit.
Yeah, it had to happen. It was pretty nuts that we had so many VSCs, but it is what it is. It's how it works. Well done today. Great job. Silverstone and Grand Prix. Do you think you can repeat what you did today and maybe get 2 positions over your championship leader rival?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, Peanuts is just no matter how well I do, he's always up there. You know, I can't. I need to get maybe a little bit lucky. Him, obviously, he had a few issues to get to today, but he still sort of overcame those, and he was up there again. So I don't think it's really on my part. I know what I can do, and I know, that I can be up in the positions. It's just I'm really at the moment relying on Peanuts to not get as many points, but yeah, we'll see.
For sure. Awesome. Thank you very much. Well said, and we'll see you next time. Good luck then.
Thank you.
And we move on to Charlie. Charlie, I gotta say, a hell of a send into the braking zone on one occasion on those cold tires.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, not the way you wanted to end that race.
I don't know. Like it's, I want to say it's the game's fault, but it's like kind of like it's half because I got a bug. Like there was one of the 5 VSCs, which was ending. It didn't like tell me it was ending, and my delta was in red, and I got the drive-through. So then like I was like, okay, I will just carry on because I saw people like in other lobbies like get 5 seconds for unserved penalties, and I was like, okay, so I'm just gonna get 5 seconds and then I'm gonna carry on. So I tried that and I got DSQ'd. So that was that.
That's an ouch. It's a misunderstanding, I guess. You just have to move on to the next one. Do you like Silverstone? Do you think it's a nice track to drive without line?
It's, I think, one of my weakest tracks, but I'll try to practice for it. I don't know. I think it would be good. I mean, I like the track, but I'm not really good at it, so I don't know. I will see.
We'll see. It's a great circuit for racing, so I hope you can do well. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time. Well done today and great effort.
Yeah.
We move on to Peanuts. Peanuts, that was a crazy race. The safety car helped out a little bit there at the end. Did you expect a P3 out of
that? No, I did not at all. It was all shambles. Like, everything that happened was horrible. I mean, I knew that if we're talking pace-wise, that probably Singapore and this track were going to be probably my worst tracks if we're just talking straight-out pace. So I kind of knew that this...
races, I guess.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I'm not that good at any races, but I'm happy to keep up the consistency because I think there's a chance I might be able to get P2 after the incident that happened turn 1. I got spun around and then I broke my wing a while after, and then shit just happened. So, I mean, it was a okay race for my part. I was quite disappointed because I couldn't attack like the top 2 because I had like 12% tire wear when we actually started. I'd already used all my tires. Softs.
Right.
So, but I'm pleased.
Fair enough. I mean, you've managed to get a bit of damage limitation, I think, I'll say there. And, of course, Senna having that unfortunate retirement was pretty useful, I think, in the end. Silverstone, do you like that circuit? Do you think you can do well there? Do you think you can maybe bring yourself back to the top step and stabilize the championship a bit?
The next 3 races, I feel like I just got past a rough patch, and the next 3 races are going to be insane because, I mean, those are actually tracks I enjoy to drive. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be really fun to fight Devin for wins and stuff. I feel like he has lately had an advantage on me, to be honest. But I think that advantage will be pretty much, if we're talking just pace-wise, non-existent coming into the next 3 races.
Awesome. Sounds good. And also there'll be more points up for grabs as well for the sprint race. I hope it goes well for you there. Thank you very much, Peanuts, and we'll speak to you next time.
See you in the next one.
And we move on to Terrence. Terrence, that was looking like a good result. I know you're not going to be happy with that one. Can you take us through your race from start to finish?
Actually, I'm pretty relieved with this one because I didn't do any practice in Jeddah, which a track can cause you many mistakes. Mm-hmm. I did 2 mistakes. One include at the end, the last 2 laps. Mm-hmm. It's good that I can't believe that I got a little bit pace for kind of competing with the even if in the midfield, but it seems very good.
Mm-hmm. Do you think if that incident didn't happen at the end, you would have been able to stay or fight for the podium?
Sure, because not quite, because I got around 1.5 delta laps oil on my car, which is so heavy. Mm-hmm. So but in the result, I'm quite pleased with that one with no practice. Maybe I should try to go on with this living style and try to put at least the less pressure on myself.
Yep. I get exactly that. That's exactly what I have as well. It's weird, it's annoying, but it just seems to happen sometimes. Maybe it's just Irony. Anyway, Silverstone, do you like that circuit and do you like sprint races? Do they suit you?
Yeah, I like it because kind of track that I can race with others and many wheel to wheel movement that will happen. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. Well said. And we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort.
Thank you, everyone.
We move on to Tom Brainer. Tom Brainer, that was a tough race. Connection issues strike again, and it seemed to lag you back. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Can you take us through it?
Yeah, the connection wasn't the problem. I don't know what happened. To be completely honest, after the qualifying, I've got a screen freeze, couldn't do anything anymore. And I couldn't do my setup after reloaded into the race. So I just tried to reboot the game. During the AI drove my car. Went back into the game. I was prepared to drive on really fucked up tires because the AI is so dog shit with it. And when I jumped into the car, I randomly got set back one complete lap. And after that, I was just so annoyed about that game, and I didn't feel the need to drive it to the end, so I just gave up on it.
Fair enough. Do you wish you continued regarding that if you finished at the back, you would have still got 4 points, or even if you continued, you may have been able to get that lapped situation fixed?
I mean, I would been able to get the lap thing to be fixed, cause the guys on front were so far ahead that even one or two safety cars wouldn't have fixed it. And after such a bad moment of the game today, I was just so fed up after really exhausting week that I just don't wanted to drive anymore today.
That's fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. Forgetting this race, moving on to Silverstone, do you like that circuit?
It's a good circuit. I definitely feel better about it than in Jeddah. Especially with the sprint race, I got a bit more opportunity to score some points. So maybe it will go better than this weekend. But I hope the most that the game is working again for me.
Yeah, for sure. That is a tough one, and I'm really sorry. 2 races in a row which haven't been great. So hopefully it goes well for you next time. You deserve some good points. Thank you very much, Tom. And we move on to the final one. Walker, that was a bit of a nuts race. Can you take us through it?
Well, it was quite okay in my opinion. It was, but I had front wing damage at the beginning. There were like 7 virtual safety cars that didn't really help me. Luckily I didn't get any penalties or didn't really. I think I didn't. I didn't spin once, like accidentally. Otherwise it was quite good.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, moving on to Silverstone. Do you like that circuit? Do you think you can find yourself fighting for the top spots, maybe?
Definitely not.
No?
I can't really see myself fighting for the top spot in any race.
Are you hoping for good points though? Is Silverstone generally a circuit that you prefer over Saudi?
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. I mean, last year, in the 2022 game, I think I lost it at Cops.
Right.
Yeah, that wasn't.
I don't put yourself down, mate. You are a very good driver and you can do well. I've seen the potential, so I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. Thank you very much, Walker. We'll see you next time. And yeah, hope it goes well there. And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next weekend for the Great British Grand Prix before our second break week. It's going to be a sprint race. It's going to be epic. Don't miss it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.